Hi, welcome to John's Tech and Travel. I decided to record this video at my favorite park where I walk, and I thought it'd be quiet. I forgot it's Wednesday, and at the gun range across the valley, it's shooting night. So you're gonna hear gunfire in the back. I'm making this video because I'm getting ready to go on a trip. And on this trip, I'm going to fly on September 19th to France, to Paris. And from Paris, I'm going to, after a couple days in Paris, I'll make my way to Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port. That's an important town because it's a town on a trail, a path that is known as Camino de Santiago. So from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, I'll walk over the Pyrenees Mountains heading west, and then I'll make my way eventually to a town called Santiago de Compostela. Santiago de Compostela is 500 miles away from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port. I'm expecting it's going to take me 34 days to do that. 30 days of walking and 4 days of resting at various places like Pamplona. Pamplona is an important town because that's where they do the running of the bulls. Now, I'm going to spend 2 nights there, but I won't be running with any bulls. In fact, they don't even do it the time of year that I'm there. On this trip, my wife will not be with me. She usually does travel with me, but she's not able to go on this trip because of her work schedule. She works, I'm retired, so I have a little more flexibility. I have a lot more flexibility. So my sons will be going with me. We've been planning this trip for 3 years, 2 years pretty seriously. We had to do that because they have social lives and they have professional lives, and they have to have time in their schedules to take 7 weeks to go to Europe. Me, it's nothing, but I'm glad I'm going to have them along. They're pretty important to this trip, because it's nice to have somebody who's watching out for you, especially when you were in your 60s, mid-60s, okay, and they're in their 30s. In fact, one's going to be hitting his 30th birthday while we are there, so it's going to be a great event, I'm sure. If you'd like to support us in some way, you can do that in a couple ways. One is on Facebook, and my Facebook page is called John's Tech and Travel. I will be posting all my videos there, but the videos, of course, are linked to YouTube. My YouTube channel is also called John's Tech and Travel. And if you watch my videos there, just please make sure you like them. Hit that like button. And also subscribe to the channel. And while you're there, ring the bell. If you click that bell, what that does is it allows you to get notifications of when I post my videos. That's all pretty important to making all of this happen and keeping the whole thing going. Back to the journey though, am I ready to go? Yes, I am 80% ready to go. I've planned for myself and my wife a number of long trips overseas. Starting in 2014, we did 5 weeks in Italy, and then we went back in 2019 and we did 4 weeks in Italy, and that trip also took us to Austria and southern Germany and Liechtenstein, and where else were we? Switzerland and the Vatican and San Marino. When you roll all that, I think that's 7 countries we were in that trip. I love to plan these trips, but there's always that time before you're leaving where you're saying, am I crazy? Should I really do this? You start to have doubts. And yes, I'm having some of those doubts right now, but yeah, I'm still going to do it. Speaking of crazy, when I was first planning this trip in 2020, I didn't know how to approach it. I didn't know if I should really do it. So I started talking with friends and family, and I would tell them, do you think I should do this 500-mile walk? And some were polite, some were not so polite about it in their response. But they all seemed to have this common theme, and that was, you're crazy. Yeah, I suppose I am, but I'm still going to do it. I'm I'm convinced now this is the way we're going. Just a little bit of history about the Camino de Santiago. In, I believe it was the 800s, the body of St. James was found, allegedly, in Spain. It's always been held that his body was moved there after his death. He was a martyr. By the way, St. James was an apostle of Jesus Christ. It was believed that during his lifetime, he preached in Spain, and that after he was martyred, I believe it was in Jerusalem, he was martyred, that after he was martyred, his body was taken to Spain and there kept secret, and the secret passed away and nobody knew where it was, and then somebody found his body in the 800s, and people started to go to Spain, to the northwest corner of Spain in the region of Galicia, and there they would honor St. James. Well, in 1078, a cathedral was started to be built to honor St. James and to house his remains. When word got out that this cathedral was being built, the Camino de Santiago, the Way of St. James, took on a whole life of its own, and people started to travel to get there, tens of thousands now. And as more and more people traveled there, monasteries were built and convents were built, because this is a very important part of the religious life of Europeans. And so this cathedral was built, and the remains of St. James were moved there, and it continued not only in Santiago de Compostela, the town that grew up around this, but the paths that led there. Some of these paths start in Portugal. You can travel from Lisbon, you can walk up along the coast through Porto, and many people start in Porto every year and continue on north up to Galicia, where they come to Santiago de Compostela. Some of these trails start in France, like the one I'm hiking, and you can even start long before Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, where I am going to start, and arrive at the same place. There are paths also that start around Barcelona, Spain. So you're coming from many, many directions, but one thing that all of these trails have in common, if they are called the Way of St. James, if they are called Camino de Santiago, they end at Santiago de Compostela. Gotta check my notes. Questions that people have asked. How will you find your way? All these trails, for the most part, are pretty well marked. It's easy to get a little confused at times, but there are big yellow arrows painted along the way, and seashells, stylized seashells, which is the logo of the St. James Trail. So it's pretty easy to find your way. There are stories that people along the way will help you and guide you if you need. There's a story of men in some towns who actually block the seashells and the arrows, and so you can't see your way when you come to an intersection, so they can help you. so there's always some way to find your way through, and whether it's the markers or the people, everybody winds up at the goal, Santiago de Compostela. People ask, what will you see? Why would you bother to go there when there's so much to see in America? Well, there's also a lot to see there. This region that we're traveling through was part of the Roman Empire, and so you see Roman era buildings, bridges that were built in medieval times, buildings still standing from the time of Christ. So there's a lot to see there, and so that leads to the question, what will you do? Well, we'll walk about 15 miles a day, and then in the late afternoons and the evenings when we have our place to stay, we will meet with other pilgrims, and we will eat with them and share some wine and talk. So where will we stay? Well, along the way, in the development of Camino de Santiago, one thing that has happened that's very important is that albergues have started. Albergues are hostels. In every town you find these. Some of them are public albergues, some of them are private albergues. There are also hotels and other lodging that you can get along the way. But there are places to stay everywhere. And there are restaurants everywhere. Restaurants and cafes. About 8 o'clock in the morning you can find a cup of coffee and a croissant or some other thing to eat. And then you continue on your way. So you can start walking at 6 o'clock and get coffee along the way. Maybe once, twice. Some people have 2 or 3 breakfasts. You know, there's always plenty to eat. The question has also come up, what will you carry with you? Hi, how you doing? We have our clothes picked out for this journey. We have our shoes picked out. I'll show you my shoes. That's one of the pair, similar to the pair of shoes that I'm actually going to wear. Not going to be quite that color, but yeah, I got my pink socks on today. I do a lot of walking. I don't go for walks. I am a walker. And I walk 8-10 miles a day quite often. Yesterday I did 10 miles with the backpack. Today I've done about 6 miles with the backpack and 4 miles without the backpack. I'm trying to break this backpack in, and now it looks like I might even take a different backpack than the one I'm wearing right now. We have some concerns about the way the shoulder straps on this one. I'm pulling on the straps as I do this. I have a water bottle system, and I drink out of a tube. And my pack weighs, well, my pack will weigh 15 or 16 pounds when I leave, which isn't heavy at all. And the reason that this pack is as light as it is because I don't have to take a tent. Like I said, there are places to stay. I don't need a backpack. There are bunks that we'll be sleeping in. I will take a light down blanket with me, very light down blanket. So I'll have that with me. I'm also taking a sleeping bag liner in case there's a danger of bed bugs at a particular albergue. Silk sleeping bag liners are pretty nice to keep bed bugs away. Hopefully we won't have that problem. Every now and then you do hear about a problem in an albergue having bed bugs. So we're going to try to guard against that. I'll take a light down-filled jacket with me to hike probably for colder times in the evening. It is going to be fall and early winter while we're there. Yeah, mostly fall. It's going to be fall while we're there. Let me back up on that one. Won't be winter quite yet. But we might have some cooler times. What else am I taking with me? I'm taking my trekking poles. Well, actually, no, that's not true. I'm not taking trekking poles with me. I use trekking poles when I wear a backpack for additional stability. You can't take them on some flights, and so I'm just going to leave my trekking poles home and buy a pair when I get there. I am taking my cell phone. I'll have a plan with me where I can download music and audiobooks if I want to and listen as I walk. My sons will be walking with me and not with me. That's a nice way of saying that not everybody sticks together all the time. I walk slower than they do, so there are times when I'm going to be playing catch up. Hey, you know, go to the room and get the room, secure that, and I'll see you in an hour. Right? What will we eat? Oh, again, we're not carrying food with us. We're going to be eating pilgrim's meals and other food along the way at the cafes and restaurants. I'm not too concerned about finding food along the way, and if I miss a meal, yeah, that's okay too. No problem with missing a meal now and then. Water, there's plenty of water along the way. I have my water system here. I got a water bottle and my tube, like I said. I carry another water bottle in my pack, and there might be times that I'm carrying 1 or 2 additional water bottles with me. What else will I drink? Well, there's a place where there's a fountain that you can walk up, take a cup, and this is on the outside of a winery. You get free red wine, and you can drink as much of it as you want. They just ask you to not be a glutton. Don't drink too much, and I'll probably include that in one of my videos. I'm really looking forward to this trip, and while you might think I'm crazy, and while I might be actually crazy, I'm looking forward to having a good time. With my sons, with others who I meet along the way. I like art, history, and architecture, and so I'll be sharing some of that in my videos. And so that's it for this video. Please, like I said, like the videos that I do on Camino. Share them with others. Subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell for notifications. And God bless. Or as they say on Camino de Santiago, Buen Camino.